This is Paul Newman, and if you are seeing this screen, I am hoping to assure you here that the live stream... Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video here on the YouTube channel. It's an absolute pleasure to join you on this Sunday afternoon. Thank you very much for giving up your precious time to join me today. As always, it's very much appreciated, and I hope you enjoy what we've got lined up for you today. What I've got today is we're going to review some races. It's been a while since we did this on YouTube, mainly because of the way the Australian calendar works. I've got 5 classics today. We're going to take a look at 5 classics. One of them is all the way back from November. All the other classics reviewed from 2024 are in a video on the playlist, which I will leave you to watch at the end of the video. Plenty of classic reviews there from around the world as well as this one. This one, though, is based purely in Australia. They're the horses. They're on classicwatch25.great/site.net is where the horses are at. And there you'll see there the Australian tab is the one that we are interested in today. You'll see there that the horses that we've got on Classic Watch 25, the Australian horses, are all on this page here. Manaal, Broadsiding, Traffic Warden, sadly injured, Zeitung, Lady Shenandoah, the 5 horses that we have at this stage. Still power to add. There's plenty of middle distance classics to come out in Australia, as they also races like the Australian Derby, and there's an Oaks as well in New South Wales, and then they move to South Australia, and I think there's a couple of Group 1 races there as well. So we've still got plenty of Australian classics to go, and the first Japanese classic is, I think, less than a fortnight away in the middle of April, the Japanese 1,000 Guineas, so we'll soon be rolling round again. Right. The first video we're going to take a look at is back in November 2024. This one was the Coalfield 1,000 Guineas, featuring Zeitung from our list of Australian-based Classic Watch horses. She managed to win a trial before this race to secure her place on the channel, and I was hoping that she would run well here and take this race out. Let's see what happens, shall we?
Takes the outside, set for the Schweppes 1,000 Guineas. Ready to run, stalls are back and they're racing. Lovely cut, missed the kick by about 3/4 of a length. Two Down Lizzie jumped well with Stage and Screen and Supercilious. Another Prophet's not too far away. Zeitung behind those horses as Two Down Lizzie works up the hill with Stage and Screen to share the front, and Supercilious kicks up. 3 across the track. Another Prophet fourth, followed by Zeitung. Then came Let's Fly. Around those fillies at that stage was Double Market. Then came a length and a half away Dominette, a lovely cut, Benagil. Aliana third last from GG's Miss Truth, and Matisse's last. Two Down Lizzie eventually took it up. 1,000 metres to go on the top corner by a length and a quarter, Stage and Screen. They were followed in third by Supercilious, Another Prophet. Then came Double Market, who's trapped wide. Further back in the field, Zeitung and Let's Fly Dominator between fillies as they reach the 800 metres. Next in the races, Lovely Cut, Benagil. Aliana with 2 behind her, GG's Miss Truth and Matisse. Two Down Lizzie is the leader. 650 metres to go. Just snuck 2 lengths, Stage and Screen, Supercilious. Another Prophet out wider on the course, getting going. Double Market and Let's Fly also about 3 or 4 off the lead. Zeitung the inside, followed by Dominator. Aliana's hooked to the outside with 7 to pick up. Benagil's back with her, and then came Lovely Cut. It's Two Down Lizzie into the running. 300 metres to go by a length and a half. Stage and Screen, Another Prophet. Supercilious up on the inside, followed by Zeitung. Matisse from a long way back, and Benagil. Another Prophet moves up to Two Down Lizzie at the 150. Another Prophet surges on from Two Down Lizzie. Aliana's absolutely flying. It's too late. Another Prophet beat Aliana, who jumped out of the ground. A photo third, Two Down Lizzie, Matisse and Benagil. Followed then by Lovely Cut and Zeitung, Dominator, Stage and Screen. From Double Market, GG's Miss Truth, Supercilious and Let's Fly. Another profit, Ethan Brown for Kieran Maher at $38.80, and $8.90 has bowled them over.
Yes. I remember watching that race live. Safe to say it was a bit of a surprise at the time. Our horse there, Zeitung, well, to be fair to her, she was positioned quite well during the race, wasn't she? There was just an element really there of, I think, her not really staying the trip, unfortunately, the mile. I think her win in a trial was over 6 furlongs. Let's have a look. Zeitung, over 7 furlongs, sorry, when she won the Group 3 Vanity at Flemington in November 2024, just before this race, actually. It was, I think, a couple of weeks before. And, unfortunately, I'm not sure she saw the trip out, Zeitung, managing to finish in 6th position out of 13. The winner there was another profit sired by Brazen Bow out of a dam called Set to Skelter, who herself was out of reset, and she was given a Racing Post rating of 109 for winning this race. Second was the 11 to 5 favourite, James McDonald ridden, Castle Vecchio sired Aliana, ran to a mark of 108. And third home was Too Darn Lizzie, sired by Too Darn Hot, out of a slipper winner, I think, NBR, who ran to a mark of 105, ridden by Jai McNeil. So that was a bit of a break then from November 2024 to the next race we're going to take a look at was all the way back in March, just quite recently, and the race is the Australian Guineas. This race was held at Flemington. We're going to take a look at that race now, and then we'll see what we think.
Australian Guineas. The field is set, ready, and they're racing. Towards the inside, point and shoot away only fairly. In fact, goes back to 4th last. Plymouth jump quickly with Savaglee and also Stay Focused. From the deep opening addresses showing speed as well. Feroce just behind those horses early. A couple of lengths, Gold Rush Guru, followed by Savour the Dream, Red Aces and Sepples in the middle of the pack. 2 further back, Detroit City and Dola, followed by Point and Shoot, Royal Insignia, Henline and Statuario. Stay Focused, the leader, quite keen in front as they reach the 1,050 by a length and a quarter opening address. 2 lengths to Savaglee, followed by Plymouth, 4th the rails. A length and a quarter for Roche, Savour the Dream, and then came Red Aces, Gold Rush Guru. A length, Point and Shoot, and next is Sepples. They were followed by well back Detroit City and Dola, then Statuario, Henline, and last is Royal Insignia. Stay Focused with a decent buffer before the corner at the 650 by 2 lengths opening address. Savaglee is third on the outside of Plymouth. They were followed by Feroce and Red Aces, who stoked along under pressure. Next around the turn, Gold Rush Guru, followed by Savour the Dream. Point and Shoots in traffic. Sepples to the outside with Endola. Stay Focused at the 350. Savaglee is moving up on the outside. They were followed by Opening Address, who wax on. Feroce with a big challenge. Savaglee at the 200 metres in front, about a half length in front with an Angel travelling with him. Moving up on the outside, Feroce though. Feroce up to Savaglee. Feroce going home better and won the Australian Guineas by 3/4 of a length, and a big pose for the photo. Second, Savaglee. Third in the race was Gold Rush Guru in a photo with Sepples, followed then by Plymouth. Next in the field, Stay Focused, Opening Address, Red Aces. Then came Point and Shoot, never really in it. Savour the Dream, Detroit City and Dola, Headline, Royal Insignia and Statuario. Feroce, Billy Egan for Dominic Sutton has taken out the Australian Guineas.
A good performance there, I think, from Feroce on the day. The second there, Savaglee, was in fact the New Zealand 2000 Guineas winner. Flown in from New Zealand, trained by Pam Gerard and ridden by Michael D. He's run a cracking race, but the winner, Feroce, very well bred horse from the dam line of De Beers and all those horses, Octagonal, Murad. But unfortunately, this horse was a gelding. The Super Seth side gelding Feroce won the Australian Guineas, ridden by Billy Egan, like the man said, trained by Dominic Sutton, and a racing post rating awarded of 117 for this race. Second was the New Zealand 2000 Guineas winner, Savagly, sired by Savabeel, out of a dam called Glee. That ran to a mark of 115. And third was, I think, a previous classic winner from Australia, the American Pharaoh sired Gold Rush Guru. I think that won a classic in one of the previous videos. Ridden by Jamie Mellum, Naykar, and trained by Andrew Gluyas. And that also was given a racing post rating of 115. Yeah, unfortunately, wasn't really strong enough on any of these to chance these on the day or moving towards the day. I didn't really have a strong opinion on any of them, really, and it was a good race. I don't really like geldings running in classics, especially well-bred ones. That would have made a lovely stallion for OJ, very well-bred horse. But unfortunately, as it's gelded, it's just not an option. But yeah, a very nice horse, taking out the prize money of £297,079, and 70 pence. On to the third race now, and we're leaving Victoria now, heading back to New South Wales and Randwick for a look at the Randwick Guineas, and that featured the return of Classic Watch 25 Possible Broadsiding, a horse that so far had fluffed his classic lines in the first part of the season. He, I think, was a very strong odds-on favourite for this Randwick Guineas. So can Broadsiding get Classic Watch off the mark? Here, let's watch the race.
From Queensland is the last to go in, and the light is on. We're ready for the agency Randwick Guineas. It promises to be a cracker. They're set, racing. Death of Character was last out. Broadsiding jumped well, so did Linebacker pushing on. Tembry Wells the outside, but Zach Lloyd has Linebacker in front of Tembry Wells. The roughie is going to take him on, and McDonald's got Broadsiding up into a clear third. Aliana's a length behind. Swift Falcon a length and a half further back. So early doors, Swift Falcon's about 3 off Broadsiding. The last 3 firm agreement. Death of Character's pulling hard, and last of all is our benefactor. So Tembry Wells the roughie scoots away with a 2.5 length lead. Linebacker put on the bridle in second. 3 further back to Broadsiding. They're really strong out here in the Guineas. 3 further back to Aliana. 2 then to Swift Falcon, followed by Firm Agreement, Death of Character, and last of all is our benefactor. So Tembry Wells is really burning along in the lead. Out by 3 or 4 lengths on Linebacker. Then Broadsiding, Aliana, and Swift Falcon. So Swift Falcon's about 8 off the lead. Tembry Wells coming back to Linebacker, 2 between the pair. Then Broadsiding, Swift Falcon gets going. So does Aliana coming through the middle. So into the straight now, Tembry Wells, firstly challenged by Linebacker. Broadsiding chimes in. Swift Falcon's chiming in. Aliana can't go with them. Linebacker now, trying to repel the challenge of Broadsiding. Linebacker on the inside of Broadsiding. He's digging in deep. So's Linebacker though. Linebacker still in front from Broadsiding. Swift Falcon. Linebacker wins the Guineas. Linebacker a half length to Broadsiding and Swift Falcon. Aliana 4th, followed then by Death of Character. Our benefactors run well. A good gap back to Firm Agreement and Tembry Wells. Linebacker, Zach Lloyd. There you go, Zach Lloyd picking up the ride on Linebacker for John O'Shea, Tom Charlton, and he's beaten Broadsiding fairly and squarely. Swift.
Hard not to disagree with what the commentator said there. A very good performance by Linebacker on the day to repel Broadsiding, it's fair to say. Linebacker sired, again, a gelding, sired by Super Seth. Not the first time we've seen that stallion pop up, is it? Out of a dam called Garden of Swans, who herself was sired by Oasis Dream, the New Zealand bred horse, trained by John O'Shea and Tom Charlton, ridden by Zach Lloyd, a racing post rating of 116. Second there, by half a length. The odds-on favourite, James McDonald, ridden Broadsiding. Racing post rating of 115. Sired by Too Darn Hot out of Speedway. And third was another gelding, sired by Exceedent, one of the stallions in Focus videos was done on that stallion, Exceedent. Good to see him figuring in a classic. Swift Falcon, sired by Exceedent, out of a dam called Tempting Delight, who herself was sired by Northern Meteor, racing post rating there of 114 for the Tyler Schiller ridden gelding. So again, Broadsiding denied yet again. The horse is really becoming a bit frustrating on occasion, it's fair to say. Right, the next classic we're going to look at is the first one I think we're going to look at Rose Hill, which is an all-age race. Older age fillies and mares are actually allowed to run in this classic. And the race is not over a mile. The race is over 7.5 furlongs. So an interesting race in the Australian Classic picture to allow the 3-year-old mares to take on their elders. So let's take a look at the fillies and mares all-age classic from, where was this race? Rose Hill. And we'll see what we think. This race featured 2 Classic Watch 25 horses, Manaal and Lady Shenandoah, who I think went off the favourite. Let's watch the race now.
Ready. Set now. And they're off and racing. Lady Shenandoah's left the gates quite cleanly from the wide draw. Manaal was first into stride, bursting through Amelia's Jewel, Marble Arch. Lady Shenandoah's in that clump, and Lady of Camelot's cast very wide. Elsefina's poking through together with Coeur Volant, then Scarlet Oak, Alencia. Further back to Our Gold Hope, Sounds of Heaven, Electrica. And 3 lengths last of all is Firestorm. They go into the first bend, and Manaal pushes on, clears the pack now at the 1,000. It's Manaal by 2 on Marble Arch. Amelia's Jewel third, followed by Elsefina, Coeur Volant, Lady of Camelot out wide going forward, and Lady Shenandoah just drops in, looks to be one off the fence midfield. They're followed by Scarlet Oak on the rails, Our Gold Hope deeper out, Alencia going through the middle, further back then to Electrica, Sounds of Heaven, and Firestorm the last one. Manaal leads them up in the Group 1, 600 to go from Marble Arch. Lady of Camelot's working a backside off out wide, followed by Amelia's Jewel, Elsefina, and Lady Shenandoah is getting a great cut into it as they straighten up. Further back to Alencia, Scarlet Oak pushing through on the rails. At the 300, and Manaal shows the way from Lady of Camelot. Amelia's Jewel, Lady Shenandoah is the widest, and the filly is starting to hit top gear. Firestorm from a long way back, but Lady Shenandoah moves up at the 150. Lady of Camelot brave. Lady Shenandoah from Lady of Camelot, Firestorm, and Lady Shenandoah won the Group 1 Coolmore. Only narrowly. Firestorm a cracking second. Lady of Camelot a brave third, followed in by Alencia. Then came Manaal, Coeur Volant, Scarlet Oak went right up the fence. Further back to Amelia's Jewel, Marble Arch, Sounds of Heaven, and Our Gold Hope was well back too with Electrica. Lady Shenandoah takes out her third Group 1, claiming the Coolmore Classic.
Very good performance there, it's fair to say. From the Classic Watch 25 possible, Lady Shenandoah. She breaks her duck and she wins her first Classic and the first Classic of Classic Watch 25. Ridden by James McDonald, trained by Chris Waller, sired by Snitzel out of a dam called Star Pupil, who herself was out of Starcraft. And that performance carrying 8 stone 8 gave her a racing post rating of 120, the best so far in this video. Second was the 4-year-old filly, Firestorm, getting 8 stone 2, trained by Chris Waller again, ridden by Tyler Schiller. Racing post rating of 113 for that one. And another 3-year-old filly, the Written Tycoon sired Lady of Camelot was third, trained by Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott, running to a racing post rating of 117. Alencia was fourth, and you'll see there back in fifth, beaten 3 lengths, was the Michael Friedman trained Manaal, ridden by Rachel King, sired by Tassort out of Red Lodge, and she could only finish 5th at 20-1, running to a Racing Post rating of 104. But she had some good older fillies behind her on the day, Manaal, but she was the last home of the 3-year-olds on the day. So Lady Shenandoah has broken the duck. Absolutely magnificent to see. The next race we're going to take a look at is the Rosehill Guineas. And while being called a Guineas, this race is actually over 10 furlongs. 1 mile and 2 furlongs at Rosehill. And again, it's our old mate Broadsiding, having another go, trying to land yet another classic, just touched off in the race we saw earlier in the video. Let's see, I think again, he went off the favourite for this race again. Let's watch the race and see what we make of it.
Ready to go. In the Sky Racing Rosehill Guineas over 2,000 metres, Broadsiding out to 280 at the death in the Roughen Racing. And Plymouth has the head in front early from Checkmate. Gold Rush Guru being sent forward. Aliana posies up nicely. Then Majorca Sunset. Swift Falcon a bit handy in the run. And Broadsiding's caught a little bit wide in the early part. McDonald's looking over the shoulder to see if he can drop him, but he's caught 3 wide for the time being. Followed by Savour the Dream, our benefactor, and Kasuki's last of all. So Broadsiding 3 wide going into the bend. And the leader is Gold Rush Guru. Jump to the front, and now Mellum puts the brakes on as Broadsiding goes forward on the outside, and Broadsiding will race up into second position to avoid being caught wide. Then Majorca Sunset and Savour the Dream, one of the long shots of the field, being sent forward. They're followed just behind the speed to Plymouth in the navy cap down on the rails. So Majorca Sunset back to 5th. Then came Aliana. Further back to Checkmate. 2 off to Burn and Win. Swift Falcon, who was pretty handy in the early stages, is back 3rd last now on the running line from our benefactor and Kasuki. Gold Rush Guru switches off in the lead. Just being pestered a little bit here by Savour the Dream, the outer. A length and a half to Plymouth and Broadsiding. He did some work early, but McDonald's got him 4th. 1 out, 1 back now at the 750. Further back, Majorca Sunset on the outside of Aliana. Swift Falcon starting a run. Doesn't want to give away too much start against Broadsiding. And Swift Falcon's making a very fast run coming to the turn. Gold Rush Guru being eyeballed by Savour the Dream. Plymouth locked up now from Broadsiding and Swift Falcon the outside. Majorca Sunset is next into the straight now. And just in front, Gold Rush Guru, Savour the Dream, but Broadsiding letting down now. Swift Falcon a length behind. Broadsiding 200 to go. Leads by a length on Swift Falcon. Aliana making some headway. Broadsiding in front, 150 to go. Swift Falcon's in for the fight. Broadside kicking. Aliana flashing home at the end. The fillies flying and lunges. Oh, photo finish in the Rosehill Guineas. Broadsiding and Aliana. Oh, nothing in there. Swift Falcon 3rd, Plymouth 4th. Get back to Burn and Win. Majorca Sunset, Checkmate. Gold Rush Guru, our benefactor, Savour the Dream, and Kasuki. Hang on to your hats. The filly Aliana lunging. Broadsiding was trying to grip on, and he might have just held on Broadsiding. Broadsiding clinging on with that late burst of Aliana late on the scene, and Swift Falcon just had it all to do.
Yes, I can confirm that Broadsiding did actually secure the 2nd classic for Classic Watch 2005, holding on to beat Aliana by a nose. Running no Racing Post rating for this race at the moment. The race was ran on the 22nd of March, only 8 days ago, so they decided not to rate this race yet. Broadsiding won, beating Aliana, as we know, Carson Vecchio, a nose, and Swift Falcon, another good solid run from the Exceedance Gelding, finishing 3rd there. So that was two classics taken out in this video, courtesy of Lady Shenandoah and Broadsiding. You have to say that they both did very well indeed. It's fair to say. We've had some good winners out in Australia. If people look at the website, we've got Broadsiding has also won another pattern race before that classic victory as well. So there's been others. Snitson Over was unlucky not to get on the channel. We only include Group 1 classics. So her Group 2 Sandown Guineas win, unfortunately, wasn't good enough at this stage to get her on the site. Zeitung was actually beaten in a sprint on her start after losing in the Guineas, but impossible really not to rate the performances of Lady Shenandoah and Broadsiding. Traffic Warden and Manaal won two of the earliest horses that we looked at, especially Manaal, winning over 5 furlongs, not really proving a decent enough 3-year-old, although she did win the Furious Stakes over 6 furlongs, and she did win a 7 furlong Group 1 race last year at Ramwick, the English Sires. So, yeah, it's interesting horses. Traffic Warden, unfortunately, picked up an injury. But very unfortunate that he was. But yeah, Lady Shenandoah and Broadsiding doing the job. Hopefully the Roll of Honour will be updated soon. Racing in Victoria has pretty much come to a close. We had the last Group 1 race of the season last week. We've got a few races, plenty of racing really, elsewhere in Sydney, New South Wales, and maybe even a bit of South Australian racing at Morphettville as well. And that's at least what we've got. So, but I can leave this video here, I think, now, because they are the 5 classics. We're now pretty much up to date with the classics. I think the next one is the Australian Derby, and that race is held on the 5th of April. So we will more than likely come back with that one. But for now, what I will do is, like I said, I will leave a copy of the Classic Watch 25 playlist so people can take a look at the site, some of the horses on it. I think in videos there's classic reviews all through the season from all around the world where we were watching the horses as well for people to watch. I'll leave that. And I'll also leave an option for people who have watched this video up to this point and have chosen not to subscribe to the channel. I will leave you an opportunity to subscribe to the channel as well. But for now, I will leave this video here now. Plenty of classic action coming up now. Europe starting to hit full stride. We had Henri Matisse winning a nice Group 3 trial today. Classic Watch 25 possible already on the YouTube channel. Managed to win nicely. Camille Passaro yesterday, not so much. Defeat for Sovereign as well, one of the American-based horses, but good cheer. Managed to win last week. Some moving forward, some moving backwards. Plenty of action still to come. But for now, I will leave this video here. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day and look after yourselves. Goodbye.